I began this film to try and understand the genocidal process, to understand it from the perspective of Jacques Semelin. One of the things Jacques had told me from the very beginning was to study the process of dehumanization. And not just through the process of the Holocaust, but also what went on in Yugoslavia, in Rwanda, in Cambodia, and many other places. It involved not only numerous conversations with Jacques and a deep dive into his writings, but a careful and systematic review of a wealth of scholarship and survivor testimony and recollections. I want to make some general observations. Dehumanization fuels the worst brutality that human beings perpetrate against one another. That's the most important point as I progress in this mini tutorial. It's not just a problem of the modern industrialized world. This has haunted humanity for millennia. We find traces of it in the writings from the ancient civilizations of Egypt, China, and Mesopotamia, in medieval European characterizations of the Jews, and medieval Arabs' characterizations of black Africans, and far-flung indigenous cultures such as the head-hunting Madurka people of Brazil, who referred to the human prey as parawat, which was a term they otherwise reserved for game animals. Genocide is the most disturbing example of dehumanization's destructive power. And if you study it, you realize that it follows a regular pattern time and time again. First, the dominant majority singles out an ethnic or racial minority as a threat. They label them murderers, rapists, or freeloading parasites, sucking the life out of the body of the state. It's a process to dehumanize them. Next, they subject them to discrimination and abuse. They segregate them. They humiliate them. And finally, in the step crucial to the emergence of full-blown genocidal violence, they no longer see and treat the victims as human beings, but as filthy, subhuman creatures that must be eradicated, ravenous predators that must be hunted down, or animals to be tamed, abused, and exploited. Let me give you a quote. "We are not dealing with humans as we know them." And that's a comment made by Sir Thomas Blamey, commander of the Allied land forces in New Guinea, in an interview that appeared on the front page of the New York Times in 1943. He went on to say, "We are dealing with something primitive. Our troops have the right view of the Japs. They regard them as vermin." Another chilling example appeared in 1944 in Leatherneck magazine, a United States Marine Corps publication, in an ostensibly lighthearted article entitled, "Bugs That Every Marine Should Know." The article included a drawing of a parasite with an insect-like body and a grotesque Japanese face. The reference was made to a lice epidemic. These were things. They were a pestilence that must be exterminated, said the article. Flamethrowers, mortar grenades, and bayonets have proven to be an effective remedy. And the same butchery by American soldiers throughout the Vietnam War has been heavily chronicled. Vietnam War veteran Stan Croft, along with many others, has noted in numerous articles that we had to dehumanize our victims before we did the things we did to them. So they became dinks and gooks, much like during the Iraq War, when Iraqis were transformed into ragheads and vermin, not people. We convinced ourselves we had to kill them to survive, even when we knew that was not true. It's also easy to minimize the significance of dehumanization by thinking of it as a relic of the past, or something that only other people do. But if you look at these attitudes of dehumanizing and the violence that they breathe, they have shaped modern societies, including our own, and they will live on here in our present.